And we are live. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. I'm a little late today, but I'm here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know in the chat, folks, how this Wi-Fi is working out. I'm in a hotel in Houston, Texas, and I have no idea. So just let me know. Let me know if it's good or bad, particularly the video. Right, I'm not concerned about the audio, but let me know if the video is working out okay for me. Just hit me up. Just indicate video is good, video is bad. You know, whatever it is. Let me know. Talk to me, somebody. How's the video? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right. Someone said Wi-Fi is good. Wisdom said Wi-Fi is good right now. We hear you. All right. So the video is good. You see me all right? All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My wife, Kimberly, is the video good? Talk to me. And good afternoon, Deacon Broughton. I see you. Deacon Broughton is in the building. That's my father-in-law. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You guys are telling me it's good. So let me get to it. We in shout out mode now. I didn't come on at 1:55. I said, let me come on at 2:00. So we got Pamela Marcus in the building, Michael Benton, Stephanie Jacobs, Rue Sharp, Kanisha Clark, Marcia Stevens, Denise Lewis are all in the building. Hit that share button for me as you come in. Hit that retweet as you come in. We got Teresa Thacker, Sherrod, Lamonte Laws, Delphin Santiago, Byrianne Collins, Tiffany Alexander, Central Hicks. They're all in the building. Hit that share button. Principal Otis Kitchen is in the building. Stacy Joseph, Sanerka Mooten is in the building. D Kerbell 1 is in the building. Hit that share button for me, somebody. Let them know that we are here. It's I guess it's 2:00 Eastern time, 1:00 where I am. Hit that share button. Hit that share. Hit that retweet button. Let them know. We're a little late. I had to do a keynote this morning in a breakout session, but that's over now. For now, I got to go back and do some more, but I wanted to get this in. Hit that retweet button. Hit that share button. Let them know we are here. Sonia Buckley Scott's in the building. Chelsea Stone is in the building. Andrea Blake, LaWanda Smith, Golfar WT is in the building. Althea Morgan, Nancy Rowe is in the building. Come on in. I'm only going to shout out a couple more minutes and then we're going to get it started. Luke Wilson, Sonia Buckley, they're in the building. Tamisha Williams, Stephan Grenier is in the building. I probably butchered that. Dr. Sheikah Houston's in the building. Brandy Shades in the building. Y'all make sure you check out Dr. Houston now with her live stream. I think it's Monday nights, right? Just go to her page, Sheikah Houston, and check out the work she's doing, her and her crew. We got AD Faison, Asia Burnett, Alicia Worthy Ali is in the building. Rodney Williams is in the building. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Jenny Gonzalez is in the building. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do my formal greeting of I'm on fire. I'm in a hotel, y'all. I might scare the folks here because I noticed that people are in their rooms. So let me see how I'm going to do that in a minute. We got a minute to go. Demetrius Scott's in the building. Jasmine Sherrell's in the building. Let them know Derek Peterson's in the building. Heidi Keegan is in the building. Marguerite Simpson Lackard's in the building. And I told you before, my father-in-law, he's in the building. That's Deacon Broughton with my wife, Kimberly. He's in the building out there in Jersey City, checking in with his son-in-law out here in Houston, Texas, but still rocking the Negro Leagues. We got one more minute. We got less than a minute. Donna Shara Gantz in the building. Kimberly Graham is in the building. Trina Arsenault is in the building. Alexi Irvin's in the building. We got a few people in the building. Come on in. Come on in. I'm praying that this Wi-Fi is going to hold out for me because the signal is looking weak when I look at it here on StreamYard. But because I normally do these plug right into the router. But look here, it's 1:05, y'all. So let me say to you formally, good afternoon. Welcome to Virtual AP Leadership Academy on the Road. It's week number 58. Can you believe it? Week 58. We started at week 1, the first Saturday in May back in 2020. But here we are in week 58 with no end in sight. But let me let you know, I know you could see it already. You could probably feel it, but let me let you know, I got to wake up this hotel. I'm in a Hilton out here in Houston. I'm on fire. To my neighbors out there, bear with me. Bear with me. I don't want the management coming up here, right? So I just need you to know that despite traveling, 4-hour flight delay last night, 0 sleep, by the way, keynote this morning, breakout this morning. Once I finish this, running off to do some more breakout and an interview. But despite all that, I'm on fire. Woo! You know, I'm not as loud as normal. I don't want them to throw me out of here. So we'll keep it a little, something. Look here, folks. I'm glad you checked in. You don't have to, but you did, and it's 2 o'clock Eastern out there on the East Coast. I'm out here in the Central Time Zone in Houston, Houston ISD. So let's get into it. I got a few things here. Let me give you my motivational message to start us off. I always do that. I'm in a new format now. I said I'm gonna keep these kind of short, but who knows? My wife says I'm not gonna be able to do it. Let's see. But my message today, before I get to my topic today, is protecting your authenticity. Once again, protecting your authenticity. What am I saying? I'm saying that there's a real you, and then there's another you that maybe you present to other people, right? Like we move through life. And we can't necessarily, and this is debatable, but with me, I'm my authentic self no matter who I'm around now. I'm 60 now. I'm too old to be playing them games. But some of us, just professionally speaking, we got to kind of be in and out of who we are, depending on the space, because who I am at home might not be who I can be at the job, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But whatever it is, there is an authentic you. Within all those different identities that you have to wear, within all those different hats that you have to wear, there is some authenticity somewhere in there. And I'm saying to you, you've got to protect that, right? Now, an ideal situation is that you don't have to morph in and out of various different identities as leader at your school. Assistant principal, superintendent, assistant superintendent, aspiring leader. Ideal situation, you can be your authentic self. But here's my point in this particular message. You can't allow yourself, matter of fact, you might want to grab this on this one, right? You might want to grab your pen on this one. You can't allow your roaming in and out of different identities you can't allow it to force you or compel you to lose your authenticity. See, you can navigate all these different hats and all these different identities and literally lose your own authenticity. You can literally forget who you are. And we see that. We see it all the time. I know I see it. So you'll see people in various different spaces, professional space, personal space, around the family space, whatever it is. And people see you and they say, like, here's what they say. Damn, what happened to her? What happened to her? Like why all the change? Where's the person that I know? And that's not to take away growth. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the one that gets so consumed by the various hats that you have lost yourself. You've lost your own authenticity. I mean, and when I say lost, I don't mean that figuratively. I mean literally, you've lost your essence. You forgot who you are, right? See, I don't want to be in this situation of leadership, and I so much have to wear the different hats, the different identities, etc., and then I lose myself. I lose my essence, right? I lose my authenticity. And one might add, I wasn't going to say this, but one might add, I lost my soul. See. So now you look into the mirror and you don't even recognize who you see anymore, because you've been wearing so many hats that you've taken this hat or that hat, and you've internalized it, and you've made that you, and that's not really who you are. Then you go home and you trying to still be that, and your spouse, your significant other, your children, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, whomever, your cousins, they like, yo, who are you? Because no one recognizes you anymore. And then you don't recognize yourself. And I think I would dare say that we all go through it. And I'm gonna tell you, just speaking for me, Otis called it double consciousness. And that's, matter of fact, hey, Otis, don't even get me started, man, because you're gonna take me right to W.E.B. Du Bois, and I don't want to do it because I'm trying to keep the motivational part short, right? Don't get me started on that, right? So, but here I'm just saying to you, don't lose your authenticity. Don't lose your sense of self. Don't lose your essence, because when you've lost that, you've pretty much lost your soul. You lost your identity. You go to the mirror and in your private moment, you're like, man, who is that? Right? Who is that? You forgot who you are. Right? So protect your authenticity. Protect your true essence. My quick word of the day / week is limitations. Limitations. And let me tell you something. Don't allow yourself to impose limitations on yourself. Yes, recognize that you're not an expert guru in every aspect of leadership. Yeah, I get that. But don't just impose a limitation on you, because in the moment, in real time, you can't do X, Y, and Z. No, grow there. Grow in that area. Don't impose a limitation. I can't do this, right? I'll delegate this to somebody else. But you can learn it. You can study it. You can research it. You can grow. But if you impose a limit, like you put a ceiling on yourself, right? I got it below the top of my crown here, right? So God, they got it in reverse. That's tricky. Oh my God, I can't even do it. Look, forget it. You get the idea. It's in reverse. I can't even do it. So don't put a ceiling like even below you, like here, down here somewhere. No, give yourself opportunity to grow without imposing self-imposed limitations on your growth. And I might add, for someone that needs to hear me, don't allow other people to impose limitations on you. Because see, some of us do that. Well, they deemed you can't do X, Y, and Z. They deemed it. So now you agree with it. You have succumbed. You have acquiesced. And now, because someone else imposed limitation, now you're not going after it. Come on now. So that's my quick motivational message and word of the week. Real quick, again, for those of you who are not aware, first Saturdays we deal with leadership. That's today. Second Saturdays we dealing with equity. We going hard on my new book. I know some of y'all been upset that you haven't gotten it yet, but the Equity and Social Justice Education 50. Yesterday, Amazon posted fully in stock. So I went on and posted it, and them books sold out like real quick. So now they're saying June 14th. Just go ahead and get it. But you don't have to be confined to Amazon. Barnes & Noble, you can get it right now. The publisher, ASCD, most of y'all belong to ASCD. Go to ascd.org and get your copy, right? Equity and Social Justice Education 50. So second Saturdays, I'll be going hard on this. Third Saturdays, I'm going to be on the social justice side. I'll still be going hard on this. And then fourth Saturday, I'm going to interview somebody. Right? We're going to find some principals out here, assistant principals, etc. And I'm going to interview folks. And then fifth Saturday, when there is, we'll do either an interview or a round table. In fact, fourth and fifth will be either an interview or a round table. We have about 4 people on here, and we'll kick it in areas that are going to make you guys better than you are in real time. Right? So that's that. Make sure that you register for my Leadership Academy. July 13 and 14, Principal Kafele Leadership Institute. Leadership Institute. Go to principalkafele.com, scroll down to the announcements, and you'll see it there. Click the link, and then register July 13 and 14, 12:30 to 3:30 Eastern Daylight Time. And it's just a nominal fee. It's not that much, right? So just register for that. And we'll see you for 2 days in July. You know, it's a little different from the Saturday Academy because, you know, this we talking about the content I put out that people pay for, right? So make sure you do that. And then lastly, hit that share button, somebody. If you belong to all them Facebook groups, let them know I'm here. We bringing it live from Houston. I told the folks at the venue, I said, I got to go back to the hotel room. I got to do my broadcast, man. I'm committed to this thing, right? And then I said, I'll meet you guys. I see you guys about 2:30 Central, right? I'll be back here. I'll put the suit back on because, you know, this is not what I wore to speaking this morning. So I put the suit back on and we out there. That's how I roll, man. I was talking to some young men today, some high school students today. And I told them, I'm going to tell you, you got to go hard. See, whatever it is that you committed to, whatever your purpose, whatever your passion, you got to go hard at it. I'm going hard, y'all. I'm going hard. That's what I do, right? So here we go. Today's topic. Never allow your students to be reduced to a test score. Oh, man. I could do that one without my notes. Never allow your students to be reduced to a test score. Yeah, Melanie, I'm sorry, that's virtual. July 13 and 14 is virtual. Now, I won't be on location because of the pandemic. So it's virtual. Just go to the website and click it, register, see you on them 2 days. Or if you can only make one, I'll see you on one or the other. All right, so here we go. Never allow your students to be reduced to a test score. What am I saying? Hear me, y'all. Hear me. I'm sweating. I got the AC on, man, and y'all should see how I got this set up. This is a mess. If the management came in here, they probably go off. I can't. It looks good on camera, but you don't see what's around in order to make this work. I even brought a light with me. I got one of my lights up here, right? But here we go. I'm saying to you, you in leadership, and you are expected. Like here's the dark side of leadership, right? Depending on how you look at it. Test scores. I mean, you could have the best robotics team and best robotics program in the country, the best engineering program, the best architectural program, the best debate team, right? The best honor society, the best this and the best that. You got CTE in your school, the best plumbing program, the best welding program, the best automotive program. I mean, you got everything in that bill. You got the best of the best. I mean, nobody can hang with you. But that test score, here, put your ear to that speaker, matter of fact, on this one. I'm going to get a little closer to the camera. That test score, see, despite all that greatness that you got in that building, folks will see those great programs too, the powers that be. They'll see them, but they're looking at them secondarily. See, first and foremost, they want to see that test score. And see, for me, and I speak my mind. That test score don't mean nothing, right? It's just that we have to do it. Because see, a test score is not going to convince me that a youngster now can read, right? Not a test score. Because some of us have figured out these tests, right? So the test score is not going to guarantee, oh, young man, young woman is a proficient reader. That correlation is not always there. Or that math test is not necessarily going to translate into this youngster is fully prepared mathematically for the world. No. It means this youngster did well on this particular instrument. And we could give the youngster a test with using a different instrument. And what the youngster's outcomes on the first instrument may not be reflective of the outcomes on the second instrument. Because the youngster may have been good, not in mathematics, but good with that instrument. Do you hear me? So what I'm saying to you, everything boils down to a test score. How did we do on the test? Are we going to keep the principal in this building? Well, it won't be. I'm speaking very hypothetical now. Well, it won't be based on that world-renowned engineering program they just instituted there. It won't be. The decision won't be based on that world-renowned debate team that's spanking everybody across the world. Let's see how those students did on that English test this year, that reading and writing test. Let's see how those students did on that math test this year, and then we'll decide if we're gonna keep the principal in that building. See, I'm saying to you, it shouldn't be that way, but it is. But you can't in turn, and this is the point of my topic today, you cannot in turn look at youngster and reduce youngster to a test score. Somebody hit me on the chat and tell me if my video is good. Just let me know. Say just write video good or video bad. I know my sound is fine, but let me know if my video is good. Just write in the chat your video is fine or your video is shaky. Whatever it is, just let me know. I want to just know in real time if you guys are seeing me the way that I'm seeing myself too. So just put that in, because I don't even see my Wi-Fi signal on the stream. I see it on the computer. Somebody said, Yolanda said video, everybody saying video good. Okay, good. So we good. So here we go. So therefore, when you look at the young people, you got to see them as human beings. You got to bring your humanity to your students. You can't go into that. You can't feel the pressure from above, because there will be pressure. For those of you who are not principals, there will be pressure. I mean, pressure to the extent that if you don't take care of yourself mentally, your own mental health, it can undermine your own mental health, because you're concerned about the ability to maintain paying your mortgage, to continue to pay for your children's tuition, to continue to live the lifestyle you're living, to continue to save at the rate that you're saving. But you got somebody saying, you have a year to raise these test scores by 10 percentage points. That can't translate into dehumanizing the youngster. And now you see the youngster as a score, as a percentage, as opposed to a human being. So the solution, what is the solution? That's what I want to talk about today. See, I said it last week. I'm going to repeat it again this week. The achievement gap, that's been here forever. It's been here for a very long time. That word equity, that emerged as the solution, right? As a viable strategy to closing these gaps in achievement. But see here, when we talk about equity, that means that you are seeing each individual as a human being, as a child that's assigned to you as he or she is. You're meeting them where they are, as they are. See, that's not looking at a number. So not see like a salesman. In some cases, those that don't understand sales, they'll see you walk into a building and they see you they see a dollar sign on your forehead, right? Those that don't understand relationship building. So they see a dollar sign on your forehead. So you just represent money. You represent a commission. So when you come in, it's all about getting that commission and meeting you at that level. But you can't treat youngster as a quote unquote commission. So when we talk about that, I'm saying that despite those challenges, and they're going to be there, and they're real. Those of you who are already at the principal level or above, you understand that, you know that. But you still got to see them as human beings. So with that said, let's talk about how we prevent being locked into seeing children at a test score. I got a few questions to throw at you today. I don't know what time I'm gonna end, but I'm gonna try to be over before an hour. The first question says, to what extent is equity a consideration as it relates to how professional development is provided or rolled out for my staff? Let me read it again. To what extent is equity a consideration as it relates to how professional development is provided or rolled out for my staff? So of course, I'm going heavy with it next week, but equity is relevant in any discussion pertaining to school leadership, right? It's just not separate and apart. So here I'm saying, you have a staff because you're the leader. You're not one of the classroom teachers. You may, every now and then you find a leader that teaches one period, right? But that's a period. You're not one of the teachers. You're one of the leaders in the building. So the question is saying, thereby, if equity is a viable strategy, if equity is a viable solution, to what extent is equity inherent in the professional learning of your staff? So now you got to hold this up, and y'all notice I brought this all the way from Jersey. I said I'm bringing my mirror with me, right? You got to hold this up, and you got to ask yourself the question. My mother always said, "Did you clean the mirror? It looks clean, right?" So I'm saying to you, You got to hold that mirror up. You got to look in that mirror and you got to ask yourself, first, to what extent is professional learning, professional development an inherent part of my leadership? But then going beyond that, to what extent is equity an inherent part of the professional development? Because see, when we talk professional development, there is no professional development that's devoid of equity. It doesn't exist. Oh, I mean, it could if one strategically decided that let me not allow equity to be a part of this discussion. But then you shortchanging children when you do that, and you shortchanging staff. So equity has got to be an inherent component of all PD. So when we talk about PD, professional development, professional learning, there's equity right there at the core. So I want you to ask yourself the question, is professional development an inherent component of my own leadership? Can I look at my staff and conclude that the professional development that I have provided them is beneficial within the equity landscape? See, or am I leading and professional development is like not even a part of what I do? Like that's not even a part of the conversation. We're not talking PD, right? So now you know we're talking about a leader. You got some serious growth to do, because you can't talk school leadership, you can't talk instructional leadership if professional development is not part of that conversation. But then, as I just said, as professional development becomes a part of the conversation and a part of the leadership, what role does equity play? Meeting youngster where youngster is, as youngster is. You can't avoid that. You cannot circumvent that. It's got to be in the discussion. So for me, and let me read number 2, and then I'll speak to what I was going to say for me. Number 2 says 3 particular areas of focus as a professional developer are: number 1, equity. And when I say equity, I'll get into it further next week, but I'm talking about the individuality of every student, the cultural identity of every student, and the voice, the ability, the welcoming, the encouragement to express oneself, but simultaneously the vehicle to find oneself. So when I talk equity, anytime I talk equity, anytime I write equity, those 3 components, though I call them my 3 pillars of equity, those are right in my discussion. Those are right in my writing. Those are right in my thinking. Student individuality, student cultural identity, student voice. They matter. Everything in the equity world, I build around those 3 pillars. So now I'm saying 3 particular areas of focus as a professional developer are equity, cultural responsive teaching and learning, and social emotional learning. My question to you with those 3 is, what is the significance of each of these to who I am as a professional developer, right? Once again, what is the significance of equity, social, culturally responsive teaching and learning, social emotional learning? What are the significance of those to who you are as a professional developer for your staff? I want you to ask yourself the question. I got to put some of y'all up here too. I want you guys to ask yourselves the question, like what does that have to do with my leadership, right? What does equity have to do with my leadership as it relates to PD? What is culturally responsive relations, culturally responsive teaching and learning? What does it have to do with my leadership? What role does it play within my leadership? And then social emotional learning. What role does it play within my leadership? For this session, I want to look at all 3 of these, and that's going to take me all the way to the end. I just want to look at 3. I don't want to get too in depth with it. I want to scratch the surface and then give you guys that food for thought, and then we'll go from there as I build throughout the next several weeks. I'm going all the way. 100 is my goal in terms of the number of weeks, and then we'll figure out where I'm going from there. So we got at least a year. So here we go. Let's look at equity. I got 4 questions with equity. Number one, which is question number 3. How do I ensure that equality mindset teaching does not prevail in our classrooms? Now let's think about the topic today. Never allow your students to be reduced to a test score, right? That's the topic. Now, how do I ensure that equality mindset teaching does not prevail in our classrooms? Wow. What is equality mindset teaching? You know, I'm gonna get heavy with that again when I get to weeks 2 and 3. But for the sake of discussion here, that's a teacher that just sees a classroom and I see everybody as being the same. The strategy is equality. The goal is equality. The approach is equality. Everything is equality, meaning what I give one, I give the other, I give the other, I give the other. That's the mindset. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that's detrimental probably for the majority of the students in the classroom, in the school, when they are subjected to an equality mindset teacher. You know, the word equality in isolation, it sounds like a good thing. You know, who could argue with that word? But equality is good when it's the goal. So we want equality for everybody. So that's a goal, but I'm not talking about a goal here. I'm talking about a strategy. And equality can never, ever be the strategy. So when we talk about never allow your students to be reduced to a test score, well, in an equality mindset classroom, they probably reduce the test scores by default because we're giving them the same thing, hoping that the one message, the one strategy, the one methodology sticks with all of them. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not going to happen because they're not the same. They're not the same as individuals relative to them being human beings. They're not the same, even though they may be the same race, ethnicity, they're still not the same individuals. They don't think alike. They don't learn alike. They don't process alike. They don't perceive alike. So I can't be in a classroom where we're all getting the same thing at the same time, at the same rate and pace. It doesn't work. So an equality mindset teacher lends itself to seeing young people as test scores. So now let me throw it at them, throw it at them, throw it at them. No, let's bring out the humanity of each individual and make sure that I'm meeting, youngster, where you are. I'm meeting your academic needs. I'm meeting your social needs. I'm meeting your emotional needs. So again, number 3 said, how do I ensure that equality mindset teaching does not prevail in my classrooms, meaning the classrooms of the schools that you lead? But coupled with that, number 4, how do I ensure that equity mindset teaching is the norm, therefore, in our classrooms? Again, how do I ensure that equity mindset teaching is, in fact, the norm in our classrooms? Oh, man. See, this is you, leader. This is called the Virtual AP Leadership Academy, not the Virtual Teacher Leadership, the Virtual Teacher Academy. We're talking leaders, not just APs, though, because we got different levels of leadership on the call. But that's on you. If equality mindset teaching is happening in equality mindset classrooms, that speaks to your leadership because your leadership is allowing that. In fact, it might be rewarding that. So you have to ensure by way of your professional development and your instructional leadership that no, not equality mindset, but the teachers that are employed to teach in this building are bringing an equity mindset to their approach every day. See, that's what matters, that they're bringing an equity mindset approach, but you have to teach that because you can't make the assumption that just because I work here that I know this. You can't make the assumption that just because I know it, I know how to implement it. Right. But as I said last week, I won't get heavy into it again the second week, but I will be when I get to next week. That equity mindset is key because toward being an equitable practitioner, I got to bring in an equity mindset, equity thought process. I mean, that just matters, y'all. Right. So I'm bringing in a certain humanity. Remember, I told you before, equity is a reflection of the teacher's humanity toward the students that he or she services. I mean, that's just key. So it's reflecting your humanity. I don't have to teach you to have compassion for children. I don't have to teach you to love children. That's something that you just gotta that's something you just gotta come in knowing. Right? I should see you and I, we can teach you the skills, but I can't teach you I shouldn't have to teach you to love children. In fact, I cannot teach you to love children. I can't teach you to have compassion for children. That's got to come out of you. See, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. So, number 4, still under equity, do I understand that equity is the vehicle to equality? See, equity is the strategy. It's the car, it's the bus, it's the boat, it's the train, it's the plane, the vehicle to get there. But it's never the goal. We're not gonna have a goal. The goal is we're an equity-based school. Okay, but what you gonna do with it? See, you got to do something with it. It's a vehicle. See, it's a vehicle to get from point A to point B. So now we jump in the equity vehicle. That becomes the strategy to get to equality. See, we want everybody to have equal opportunity, but youngsters are not coming in at the same place. You got youngsters coming in. Like I think about it often, probably daily. When I went to undergrad school, that was 5 years after high school. I didn't go in at the same level intellectually, academically, socially, emotionally as everybody on the campus. You had students on the campus who were far already advanced. As soon as I got there, they, and see, I don't mind being transparent. Y'all know that. Y'all been with me. Those of you been with me for a long time. You know. I'm gonna let you know what's on my mind. As soon as I got there, they put me in remedial math. As soon as I got there, they put me in remedial reading. I had to take them courses. I went to a junior college for a stint. They put me in remedial math and reading. Then I get to the university, they put me in it again. Right? So I'm far behind because I wasted some years. So a professor, obviously the experience in a college classroom is very different from the experience in a K-12. So of course the professor could probably care less that I'm taking remedial math and remedial reading, right? See, it takes a bold person to get on these live streams and admit your truth. See, some people will hide from that. I can't let the public know I took remedial courses. Like I need them to think like I've been Ivy League all my life. It's people out there. And see, that goes back to my message when we started, getting lost in your own authenticity. And now you have tricked your own mind into thinking like you was always like up here somewhere. Like you see, you may have been the material to be up there, but your reality may not have been there. See, I don't have a hard time with that. I don't have to fake the funk. I can tell you're gonna have to Google Parliament Funkadelic to know what I just said when I said fake the funk, for those of you that don't know. So see, I don't have a problem with that because I excelled in those remedial courses to the extent that they asked me to tutor the rest of the students. I was so hungry. They said, could you tutor what the others, help me out with your peers? Right? So you go in the classroom and here was the painful part. I see you out there, Craig Boykin. Here was the painful part. The campus was mostly white in terms of students, but the remedial students was predominantly Black and Latino, Latinx. It was us. So as I was in there, and I wasn't growing just yet, I was in the process of growing. But once I grew and reflected back, I'm like, wait a minute. How is it on this white campus where the students are white? Why aren't the Black students and the Latinx students dominating these remedial courses? How is that? And I mean, I got my answer. Yeah, I mean, that's not hard to figure out, right? So, but why is that? What is it about our K-12 experience that we weren't prepared to function relative to reading and mathematics at the collegiate level. What is that? Well, I'm saying to us in terms of why I'm on here this morning, you and I can't allow that to continue to happen. See, you and I have to ensure that when that youngster is there, that youngster is fully prepared to go on to college and leave high school skills in high school. Those remedial courses was high school skills that I obviously did not attain. But I obviously have the intellectual capacity. I think my track record will speak for that. Have the ability to flourish in. So when we talk about not reducing a youngster to a test score, then the difference between being on campus ready to do college level work versus remedial work, that youngster may have been in a school where you were just a test score. So we're not necessarily going to prepare you. And I don't mean that this is intentional, but it just happens. So we're not necessarily preparing you to be able to function at the freshman level in high school with the majority of the freshman class, but we are going to make sure that you pass this standardized test. Well, who does that benefit? The school looks good. Test scores went up. All the leaders have pressure off of them for the year. But what about the youngster? What about the youngster? Do you think the youngster really cares about that test? Like, oh my God, this is so great. I passed this test. Because now that I passed the state standardized test, the district standardized assessment, okay, what does that do for me? Let me answer that. Nothing. It just means you're part of a school that has great test scores. It does not always translate into you are a proficient reader. Because you passed that reading test, that writing test, doesn't mean now that you can take this complex book and start reading and comprehend what you read. See, youngsters, again, cannot be reduced to a test score because they're bigger than that. Let me keep going. Number 5 under equity. Number 6, when you deny me, this is a statement. When you deny me of my racial cultural identity, you deny me of my unique needs. And then the question is, how does this statement drive my leadership? So now let me bring it back together for you. When you deny me of my racial cultural identity, meaning that teacher that says, I don't see race, that color culture blind teacher that says, I don't see race, I don't see ethnicity, I don't see culture, I just see the students, that teacher. Well, here's the statement. When you deny me, this is the youngster speaking, when you deny me of my racial cultural identity in that equality mindset classroom, you deny me of my unique needs because of who I am. Because think about it. You got Black student, Latinx student, Black or brown student who grew up amongst a historically marginalized, oppressed race of people, a group of people, right? So I'm a product of a segment of the population that's historically marginalized, historically oppressed. Well, that has to be considered. You can't just look at me and just, we're all the same. No, I'm part of a community. That's the word I was looking for before when I said group. I'm part of a community that historically has been oppressed. You can't deny me of that, teacher, because although youngster, for example, youngster wasn't a part of the 60s, the 50s, the 1800s, the 1700s, the 1600s, he's still feeling the effects of it. And that can never be denied because it's generational. It doesn't disappear with generations. You can find issues within the African-American community, for example, that are tied directly to the period of enslavement. Because, and the simple reason is because coming out of enslavement, there's never been any therapy for a race of people, a community of people. There's been no therapy. So because there's been no therapy, those effects are still lingering to this day. To this day, they manifest in schools every day. So now I can't be in a classroom with a teacher that is ignorant of that understanding, because now I'm not in position to be an asset to you in that regard, because I'm just looking at you all being the same, not taking into consideration these historical issues that haunt young people to this day. Enough said there. So the question was, how does this statement drive my leadership? If that's the youngster speaking without speaking, because we know the youngster's not going to say that unless it's a youngster like I'm speaking to these young men here in Houston today, and they all are they're aspiring teachers. So they're thinking differently, right? So they would get this. Matter of fact, in the panel discussion, not one of them said that they benefited from their K-12 education. Let that sink in for a second. I'm here in Houston, ISD, at this men's leadership summit for folks who want to become teachers or keeping men in the teaching force. And during the panel discussion, every one of the men on the panel, K-12 education did not prepare me for the world. Every one of them, 100%, spoke volumes. So you and I have to consider that, right? So here, figuratively speaking, when the youngster says, when you deny me of my racial cultural identity, you deny me of my unique needs. I'm asking you, how does your leadership, how does this statement drive your leadership, right? How does it drive your leadership, right? So let's keep moving. Cultural responsiveness. I told you I got 3 areas: equity, cultural responsiveness, and social emotional learning. Let's go. So number 7, whether it be staff meetings, coaching, PLCs, etc., is cultural responsiveness an inherent and ongoing topic of discussion with my staff? So again, whether it be your staff meeting, whether it be your one-to-one coaching, your small group coaching, your PLCs, your department meetings, your grade level meetings, your whatever kind of meetings where staff come together, the question is asking, is cultural responsiveness a part of the conversation? Right? I think Craig says something that's worthy of me speaking. It's one of my colleagues. Check him out at craigboykin.com. Or go to his Facebook page at Craig Boykin. But he said high school dropout, ungraded, 2.7. First master's 3.7. Second master's 3.9. These are all GPAs. PhD 3.9. GED to PhD. I failed twice in grade school and never in college. Right. So Craig is obviously another example of everything I've been saying today. Right. Good to see you today, Craig. So here again, I'm asking cultural responsiveness. So when I say cultural responsiveness, the consideration for every youngster in that classroom, culturally speaking, right? Because see, I can remember a long time ago. This is me being transparent again. I see you out there, Greg Sneed. I don't usually do these shout outs this late, but I'm out in Houston and I'm seeing these familiar names. Listen, I'm gonna be transparent. I used to, how people will write books or articles or videos or presentations, and they'll say blah 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 black and Latino children, like motivating Black and Latino children, right? They might say, or empowering Black and Hispanic. Some people might say, especially this part of the country, Black and Hispanic males, whatever it is, they'll say Black and Hispanic. And I was speaking one day. I wish this young man was on here, but I know he's not. In Rochester, New York. This is years ago, like well over a decade ago. And a Latino man challenged me. He's a superintendent now, and he's a good friend of mine. He challenged me on that because he knew I knew my stuff as it related to Black males, but he challenged what I knew about Latino males, right? And I think I met the challenge in my answer, but it made me introspect. It made me really look at myself. And I said, why am I writing these books or these articles or doing these presentations? And I'm lumping Black and Latino young men in the same discussion. Now, I know it's people out there that do it, and I'm not criticizing them, so don't get me wrong, but I'm just being for real with you. How am I lumping them in the same conversation when culturally speaking, they're not the same entity? Do you hear me? A Black man, just because you're talking about 2 historically oppressed communities, it doesn't mean culturally an African-American, and because I'm from the Northeast, I'll say African-American, Puerto Rican, and Dominican, right? It doesn't mean that we're the same and are living the same reality. right? I mean, it's even just in terms of if I'm Puerto Rican, if I'm Dominican, chances are I got an island, I got a country that I got some relatives that I can go back home to, right? That I can interact with, etc. If I'm African American as opposed to African Caribbean, chances are I ain't got nobody outside of these borders, right? I mean, if I did some serious research, I may be able to trace my roots and find people, but it's not like they're expecting my phone call. If you understand what I'm saying. So now this youngster is sitting in the classroom, Puerto Rican, Dominican, African American. Just because they have dark skin and they're from historically oppressed communities, I can't conclude, therefore, the needs are the same, so I can use the same language when speaking about both. Y'all got to hear me on this. This ain't in my notes now. This me freestyling, right? Y'all know how I do stuff, pops in my head, right? So I can't have the black male message and now say, and this applies to the Latinx community as well. That's like convenient and easy to do. But if one is being true to themselves, you probably doing one of them groups, depending on who you are and what you're most familiar with, you're probably doing one of them groups a disservice because you're not speaking to them. Now, of course, there's some generalizations, which can also apply to white students, Japanese students, Korean students, Chinese, Asian, Arabs, whatever. There's some things that's just students. But when you start talking specificity, you can't just go and say, let me take the black and the brown, just lump them together. No. Because you shortchanging one. If you Latinx teacher and you said, let me lump them together, same stuff for both, then you shortchanging the black student. If you black teacher and you let me lump them together, then you shortchanging the Latinx students. That's the bottom line. You got to do some homework. You got to do some studying. You got to do some research so that you have better clarity on the students who are not from your community, who do not look like you, because those needs are different, although we're talking about two historically oppressed communities. I hope y'all hear me. I'm looking at the comments. I guess y'all do. So yeah, I gotta go back. I gotta go to Canela because you nailed it, Canela. If I'm Dominican and I'm so I got Dominican kids in the class and I got Puerto Rican kids in the class. I can't come with this Latinx mindset that now they're the same. I can't do that because culturally speaking, that's not necessarily the case. And see, that's where we go wrong. This whole discussion, never reduce them to a test score, never bring the equality mindset the equality mindset into the classroom. So now you got Puerto Rican students, you got Dominican students. Now let me add Mexican students. Let me add students from Venezuela. Let me add students from Nicaragua. Let me add so from various different countries, and now Panama, and now that's my Hispanic population. Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry, neighbors. Okay, if you want to think I'm losing my mind, right? No, you can't do that because they may speak Spanish, but that might be where it stops, right? I mean, I'm a black man, but culturally speaking, my reality is not the same as a Jamaican-born black man. That's a different reality, right? So all of that has to be considered, y'all. It's got to be considered. You can't just you can't just aggregate people. Okay, okay. Here go black kids. Some of them from Jamaica, some of them from Trinidad, some of them from Antigua, right? Some of them from Haiti, and some of them from America, from Brooklyn, right? So, okay, but guess what? There's some real specificity in there, and you got to become conversant when we talk about the equity space, right? So I'm gonna step away from this because I'm gonna get more into this next week. So again, my question was just, whether it be staff meeting, coaching, etc., is cultural responsiveness inherent and an ongoing topic of discussion with my staff? Number 8, what is my own understanding of culturally responsive teaching and learning? So here I'm asking you, and I'm almost done, y'all. Here I'm asking you, what's your understanding I got people back at that facility. They waiting on me anyway. I got to put the suit back on, man. I might have to take a shower first, man. So, I ain't going to keep you all day. Listen, but what is my own understanding of culturally responsive teaching and learning? Like what do you know? See, I got the mirror up. What do you know? Are you conversing? Are you an expert? Are you a guru? Like, can you talk intelligently about culturally responsive practices in a classroom? And if you can, then everything I said for the past 10 minutes, that's got to be a part of your repertoire. That's got to be a part of you, right? Hey, y'all, hit that share button, man. That portion I did like for 10 minutes just past, it's folks out there that need to hear that. If they don't hear anything else I said today, tell them, yo, go to his YouTube channel when he's done, or just go to his Facebook or Twitter page, wherever, and watch that part. Because, man, it's people, let them know, it's people guilty of this practice. They just take kids because they happen to speak the same language and just stay the same. No, they're not. They're not. There are cultural differences that have to be acknowledged. Number 9, what is my, I read this one, didn't I? No, number 9, what is my own level of competence? No, I didn't read this one. What is my own level of competence as a culturally responsive school leader? So that first one, number 8, was what is my understanding? But now I went deeper. I got that shovel and I digged a little deeper. I said, what is your level of competence? See, when we talk about being proficient in the equity space, you can't, it's not just, people use the simplistic definition, meeting the youngster where they are. Now, Craig, you're going to get me started, man, because see, like Craig Boykin just said, the LGBTQ students, see, that's that. So now you got Black students and I've, this is part of my life. As far as my leadership and my teaching. So now you got Black students in the classroom, you got Latinx students in the classroom, but then within the population is the LBT, I can't even read, can't even speak, LGBTQ, right? I'm talking too fast. The LGBTQ population or students it could be one student, could be a handful, it could be 2 or 3 students, right? So, like, do you recognize that? And see, when I say that, I'm talking about the culture that accompanies it, right? Like, are you equipped to connect with that student, right? That matters, and that's why I ask: are you competent? Not just understanding. You got to have competence and being able to approach these very complicated issues, because they are, right? Let's keep moving. I'm on the last component, social emotional learning. Number 10. What role does social emotional learning play within my leadership repertoire? And you guys know, I've said to you, those of you who've been with me for a while, I make the distinction. I will talk SEL. I will talk social emotional learning as one. But I'm a disaggregate guy, just like I did when we were talking about race, ethnicity. Well, I also talk social in isolation. I also talk emotional in isolation, right? So I talk about, when I look at the youngster, the academic need, the social need, the emotional need. Yes, they go hand in glove, but sometimes I need to go just to the social side. The emotional side may not be an issue. It may not be a concern, but the social side might be. So now let me compartmentalize this whole social emotional learning and look at the social side, the social skills, the social interaction, the social engagement. But then on the emotional side, now let me examine that in terms of what influence, control do I have over my own emotions in various different settings? The social side could be fine, but emotionally, I'm struggling. right? I'm struggling emotionally. And I get it because, I told you guys, on a very light note, a few weeks ago, we had a laugh about it, that there's certain movies that I can watch them over and over and know what's coming and what time it's coming, and it still moves me to tears. You'll recall we talked about Rocky 3, but I'm not going to start laughing with it today, right? So it will move me to tears, just the one scene in a movie, just the one scene emotionally. So that scene is a trigger for me, or certain songs by certain artists become a trigger for me emotionally. But here's the thing, to just make this concrete: it's not the scene that's doing it. It's the connection of the scene to my life. You didn't hear me. It's not the scene. It's the connection of the scene to my life. I'm seeing me in the scene, and it's something, it triggers something emotionally in me. Or the song is triggering something emotional in me. So I'm saying to you, but what about the youngster that cannot articulate that? And I don't mean a movie or a song now. I mean a situation. Like for example, it's Mother's Day during the school year, and the principal's over the PA talking about Mother's Day. And the school has bought plants to give the students for Mother's Day. And then the youngster has an emotional breakdown because mother is not around, right? Mother transitioned, or mother, there are other issues, whatever the issue may be. I'm not going to brainstorm that. But whatever it is, it's an emotional trigger for that youngster. And that youngster is not at a point in life where I know how to manage that. So now I have a breakdown, but there's nothing wrong with me. But as the leader in my school, do you understand those triggers? Do you understand my reaction? Right? Do you understand, matter of fact, just the celebration of Mother's Day? Do you understand I'm in the building? So I'm not saying that to discourage the celebration of Mother's Day, but when you do all this celebrating and giving out all them flowers, do you realize I'm in the building? That's what I'm asking. Do you realize that I'm witnessing this? I'm seeing this. And I'm not feeling what my peers are feeling. So I'm not saying change, but I am saying adjust. You might need to adjust because young Jalil is in the building, and young Jalil is not thinking about all the other mothers in the school. Young Jalil is thinking about his or her own, or in this case, his own mother, his own situation, his own plight. This may be a youngster that's living with his 10th foster family. And I'm just highlighting this to make the point. So now he's living with his 10th foster family. But deep down inside, like, where's my mother? And why am I living with all these different people? Right? Hey, leader, hear me. Does your leadership consider that? That's what I'm asking. When we talk about social emotional learning, and I'm on the emotional side, does your leadership consider that? Or are you devoid of it, ignorant of it? Went right over my head, Kafele. Oh my God, Kafele. I hadn't thought about that. And guess what? Those of you who are still in school, well, Father's Day is on the horizon. Right? So now what Father's Day means to one child, maybe to another child, it means something very different. And I won't even brainstorm those differences, but it can mean something very different. So while we're celebrating, which is not a bad thing, has your leadership, y'all, listen, ain't none of this in my notes, y'all. None of it. I didn't plan this. That guys say, yo, I need you. I know what you got in your notes, buddy, but I need you to talk something different to them today. Right. So I'm just following the assignment. So work with me. I'm almost done. So now I'm asking, does your leadership, I'm not asking, do you, and I very seldom ask, do you, does your leadership consider the youngster? That's what I'm asking. But here's the bigger question. Does your leadership even know that that youngster is in the space? See, you could be, your intentions could be sound, but you don't know the students. Or you in one of them big, like I'm here in Texas, one of them big mega schools. I was walking around the school today and I'm like, man, this one of them like malls, right? So like sometimes we're in those kind of schools, right? Maybe you won't know everybody, but somebody on that team, somebody on that administrative team must know everybody on their team. So that now we don't make mistakes. We don't say things in the name of being trying to connect with children, but forgetting, but five of them you just hurt deeply. Right. So we trying to do something really good, recognize fathers, bring the fathers in, do all that good stuff. That's good stuff. But you got 5 in there that can't handle that. What you got for them? Right. What's in place for them when we clapping it up for the fathers? Right. And I don't want to take away from the other youngsters. I'm talking about social emotional learning. I just want to make sure that we never lose sight of who is enrolled in that school. I'm almost done, y'all. I'm going up to 12. I'm on number 11. What role does social emotional learning play within my capacity of professional developer of my staff? So now everything I said in number 10, now we're translating it in what kind of teacher are you? That's what I'm asking. What kind of teacher are you, or what kind of professional development are you providing coming from others, right? Are you that teacher that makes staff understand? Because I mean, I used a kind of an extreme example when I said Mother's Day, Father's Day, but it could be just teacher in the classroom. And it's just a harmless, innocent discussion about whatever, but I don't know the students. So now I go on and say what I say, not realizing how it's going to impact the youngster, right? Because I don't know what youngster has gone through. So now there's some serious training that has to occur with staff if SEL is going to be the true manifestation that we want it to be in the school, right? And then never lose sight of the fact that you got folks in the building that need their own social emotional learning. You got folks in the building with their own triggers. Don't forget, I'm talking about adults now. Don't forget that. They're in the building too. And you can't forget that. Like you go to a school and you see some teacher just going off about something with somebody else. Well, maybe there's something there that we don't know about. And maybe the counseling portion, the therapy portion does not exist for that staff member. All that has to be considered. All that has to be considered. I'm almost done. I'm on the last question. Under my leadership, does my staff understand the significance of social emotional learning? So I tie them together. I'm just asking you under your leadership, because see, here's what I'm not doing. I'm not talking generically. I'm talking about you. And I'm asking under your leadership, does my staff understand the significance of social emotional learning? So I'm asking you to hold up your mirror, and I'm asking you to look within your mirror. And as you look in your mirror and have that honest conversation, what role does social emotional learning play under your leadership? Suppose you're in a school and you're a full-time disciplinarian. That's all you do, discipline. But yet you evaluate staff. Yet you got children who report to you. Then I'm saying to you, who report to your staff, who report to you, and you're not conversant in this social emotional learning, culturally responsive practices, equity. And I see my father-in-law. He said I sound good. He said I'm on point this morning. That's what I want to hear. Father-in-law. See when father-in-law say you doing good, you doing good. Nothing else don't matter, right? That's Deacon Broughton. Y'all say hello to him. Deacon Broughton, right? Jersey City. So here, it's under you. So just keep that in mind. There's so much more to say to this, but here's the beauty. I told you I restructured. I know I went over. My wife saying, yeah, like I told you that. My mother too. They both say you don't know how to do this in 30 minutes. But I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. But here's the thing, y'all. With the new format, so next week it's just equity, but within the context of leadership. I don't mean something else. Just within the context of leadership, we're gonna talk equity. The next week after that, social justice education. Within the context of leadership, and then the interviews on a variety of things. So I want you guys to keep checking in because we still talking leadership for 100 weeks. So with that said, I wrote a note here. I know I went over. I know these folks are probably like, where is he? They may be watching me live, like saying, yo, come on, man, you got to come back to the school. I'll be there. Listen, that morning message. Oh man, I'll talk more on it next week, but that morning message matters in terms of how you lay a foundation and set a tone for the rest of the day. That morning message matters coming from leadership. But that morning circle with teacher and students, oh man, y'all know those of you that do it, there's so much you could do. That morning circle. Don't dive into language arts and math and science. Let's dialogue. Let's talk about some things. We'll get the content in, but let's have that circle. Let's have that conversation. We'll talk more on that later, but I wanted to throw that in there. So look here, y'all, real quick. Make sure that you, again, I don't even have a parting question this week, but I'll make one up. In what way is equity, culturally responsive practices, and social emotional learning inherent in my leadership? So we'll call that the parting question. Again, my School Leadership Institute, July 13 and 14. Register on principalkafele.com. Again, this book, y'all know, because y'all been hitting me up with like some of y'all been friendly mad, right? You ain't been like outright expressing how angry you are. You've been cordially mad. Like Principal Kafele, I ordered it back in like April, pre-order. And they telling me August or July or something, but you've been like polite. But I feel that energy, right? It's like it's hot. That's why it's hot. The Equity and Social Justice Education 50 Critical Questions for Improving Opportunities and Outcomes for Black Students is the subtitle, right? So Amazon, I checked it a few minutes ago before I came on. It said June 14. That's soon. But you don't have to go through Amazon. Go to ASCD. They'll send it to you right away. Or go to Barnes and Noble. They'll send it to you right away. Stop being locked into one company, Amazon. I mean, I like Amazon because I get to see my sales rank, but use the other ones, right? And they'll send it to you. And then make sure you post it with your face. Post that pic on social media, right? And then give me some kind of rating on Amazon. No. Scratch what I just said. I said some kind of rating. Sometimes people people, I'm gonna be off in a second. I notice sometimes I think people that just, that word hater, like people got their, I don't use that word, but I'm gonna use it in this context because a lot of y'all younger than me. Like we got our haters out there. I think people go on some of my review pages on different platforms, and they just write negative things about me because they want to. They ain't read nothing I wrote, never watched the video. They just don't like what I stand for. So they'll go on there and put 1 star, the book was garbage. I never forget when I wrote The Closing the Attitude Gap. The week it came out, some lady said, this book is garbage. I was going to recommend it to my mentee, but now I won't. Well, the book became one of ASCD's highest selling books. It's used by school districts all over America, but this one person, the book was garbage. I mean, I've bought many things that I didn't like. I don't take the time, if I don't like it, to go on social media and say it was garbage. No, I just send it back or put it in a drawer. But I'm not going to spend time like this. By the way, don't buy the product. It's garbage. Like that's like a serious lack of humanity, right? Because what's garbage to you is treasure to somebody else. But if they read what you wrote, oh, well, they said it was garbage, so it's garbage. I mean, I've used vendors and you've used vendors where the reviews said it was garbage, but then you bought it. Like, how do you say this garbage? Somebody said the Logitech camera. That's what I use. I got like 4 or 5 Logitech cameras for webcams. Somebody said it was garbage. Man, Logitech cameras changed my life. I used to use the cameras on the Mac. I was all grainy and fuzzy. I thought that's how all cameras were. And then I got, that's when I was much younger. Then I found out, oh man, Logitech. So somebody said it was garbage. Oh man, it doesn't make you the right color. The shade, the tint of the room is bad. And then I found out they got this little app here. You adjust the color. So if I want to turn this shirt here blue, I can do that. Right? It's just make an adjustment. So I'm saying all that to say I'm being light now, y'all. When you write the review, like if you feel like I'm just gonna give them 1 star, you just keep moving. Don't give me the 1 star. I'm looking for the 5-star people, right? I'm looking for the one that's gonna say, man, that book was great. I recommend it. That's what I want to see. Don't get on it. I don't know. I ain't like it. Just keep moving with that. Hey, look, y'all, I got to get back to that school, man. I appreciate you coming on so late and staying. I told y'all 30 minutes. Man, I stayed on 1 hour and 16. That's crazy. I'm going to try to shorten it up next week. I appreciate you guys. Look here. Have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. Peace. Peace. Thumbs up, cock that fist back. I ain't got the bookcase. I can go back further now. Cock that fist back. Count to 3 with me. 1, 2, 3. Bam! I'll see you guys next Saturday back in Jersey City at 11 o'clock. No, 10:55 Eastern. It's 100 degrees out here in Houston, man. Y'all can have this. I'm going back to where it's like 80, right? I'll see y'all next week. Thank you.